Hi friends, this is Chris with Josephine's Design. I am back with my Happy Planner, Happy Notes. And I've read in part one. If you haven't seen the part one, go run over there. I'm talking about my gardens, my inside garden, my outside garden, my patio garden, all of that. So we just did our large 6 huge round garden beds that we'll be putting in outside. And I'm super excited. We go tomorrow, we get the dirt, it's going to be a lot of fun. Then on the inside, so this is what we did in part one, so you can go grab that video if you like. And so now we're going to work on the inside garden. I'm not going to do the patio garden because I listed that on the outside garden. So we do oregano, mint, and on the patio I'll do lettuce, basil, tomato together because one helps the other with pest control. They each help each other. And then chives. So I also said if I've put anything together that shouldn't be, leave me a message because I'm going to go back and double check every single garden to make sure what I have where. Because there are some things that can be together and some things just can't be together. So anyways, so I think I'm going to come back into this particular paper pad, and since this is my inside garden, I think I'm going to go ahead and just use one of these pretty florals. And then I have these left from my other page, so I'll kind of tie it in that way. Alright, so let me see. Yep, this one has the top, but you know what? I think I'm just going to go like that this time. Ooh, I don't know. I think that's not even straight. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll trim it up. Well, I tried. What can you say? You know what? I think I'm going to save these for another project. I think I'm going to go with something different. Okay. So, let me see what I have in here. Okay, those don't work. Alright, but I love that. I already used that, though. Silly me. So, ooh, that's pretty. Yeah, that's what I'm going to use. So, this was what I used on that other page, so I used the back side. Anyways, so we are getting everything. I've worked on our pantry with my youngest daughter. Praise God, she's been invaluable. She really is the little legs that can go up the ladder when I can't. And she lifts the things that I can't lift, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And though she is tiny, she is mighty. I keep telling her, you know, you may be little, but you know, you're definitely strong. I mean, that kid doesn't even weigh 100 pounds. She's tiny. So, anyways, and she's a young adult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to split these. But I am going to be sure this time that I get them the correct amount of space. I had them cut wrong the last time. So, anyways, alright. So that's good. And then I think I'm just going to do that. Well, maybe I'll do it bigger this time. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to save that. Put that back in my little pad. And, yeah. So, alright. So I'm going to do the exact same thing I did last time. I'm just going to go just like this. It works really well for me. I like the design on the page. It just works. So, why reinvent the wheel? But, and that little paper pad, I do not know where I got it. You know, I want to say Tuesday morning, but because it's fairly current, I may not have. So, anyways, I'm sorry. I try to remember these things for you guys. But if you've been following me, I've got all those Tuesdays on Tuesday mornings. And I found a whole bunch that I had pre-recorded that I am listing now because I kind of forgot that I have them. And I just found them. They're from like January. But the funny thing is, in our particular Tuesday morning, the inventory doesn't really change. I don't know why. I mean, not to say we don't get new things every now and then, we do. But anyways, so I just decided, you know what? What I'm seeing for my Tuesday morning, you guys may be having it now. I mean, I know when we travel, and I always hit Tuesday mornings wherever we travel. My husband just knows. I should be the Tuesday morning ambassador, but anyways. And everybody has different inventory to some degree. So, I always tell people when people want, like pictures and being up close and everything, I always just say, go find, you know, any Tuesday morning and just go in there with an open mind with a long, you know, like a generic list. Like I need tape runner, I need paper, I need stamps, and I need I know, stickers. And if you come out and hopefully they all match, you're good to go. So anyways, so on this one, I'm going to talk about my inside plants. So for inside, I have 2 different setups. And actually I have 3. I have 3 setups. So let me explain my 3 different setups. So right now, I have started all of my sprouting. And I just rinsed these, and I just started these yesterday. And even from this morning, I wish I could have shown you, there were little tiny tails. Now they're like that. So these are green peas, split peas, green peas, I can't remember what they call them. This is a mix, and it's a microgreen mix. And this started sprouting right away. It's going to take longer than this, but I'm okay with that. And then this is one that was my first of the trials. So what happened was, this has a little tiny amount in it. And the reason I didn't go crazy was I'd already gone through 2 rounds of bad seeds. So all I can say is don't store your seeds by an oven, because that's where mine were stored. And our oven that does not work now was not heat encased. So it pretty much killed the seeds. And even though they were in jars, mason jars, it still killed the seeds. So you really want to keep them in a cool, dark place. And I know better. So I have a new place that I keep my seeds. And I almost brought in all my seed packs, but it's just a lot. So now I've started buying more bulk seeds. So I buy them 1 pound to 2 pound to 5 pounds, depending on what the seed is. And so what I found yesterday online, hold on a second. Let me see here. I'm just going to get a quickie little notepad, and I will thought about drawing on the back of that, but that might be a little crazy. So, anyways, what I bought, they had this on. It was on Instagram. So, I mean, as soon as I see something, I go try to find it cheaper. I mean, you know, I'm going to be honest, I'm cheap. But, let me scoot that out of the way. And what I found was, it's a tray that's like, you know, a rectangle. And I can't remember the dimensions. I really can't, so I'm so sorry. I don't want to even, you know, josh you. I know it's less than 2 inches deep. And I think it's like 14 or 15 by maybe 10. And maybe just under 14, just under 10 by just under 2. And what it is it's a mesh, like this is mesh. It has a mesh tray in a regular tray, like a lunchroom looking tray. And so what you do is you soak your beans, and the way, or your seeds, the way you do microgreens is you soak them. And I soak mine overnight. So before I go to bed, I'll start a batch. And I'll just soak them in like filtered water, because we have a water filter. So I'll soak them in the water filter overnight. I'll get up the next morning, I'll drain them off, I'll rinse them, and I'll drain them again, just very quickly, all filtered water. Then I will, because when I soak them upright. And then once I'm finished, I put them in little bowls, and it just holds them just like that. So they continue to drain in the bowl. You know, because I drain them, and then I put them in the little bowls, and they continue to drain in the bowls, and then they get air, and they start getting the sunlight, and they get the air, and they get all the good stuff, and then they start to grow. And this is day 2. This is day 2. Isn't that amazing? I know. Anyways, and so I thought, I had all the jars, and I thought, I don't think that's enough. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give some of my jars to my oldest daughter and son-in-law, and then we'll keep a few. And then what I've done is I've bought a system, because they had this where you could buy one tray in one set of trays. So there's 2 sets, you know, 2 different trays. And that one sits in the other. The first one is the mesh. The bottom one is the solid. So you soak them overnight. Then you drain them. Then you put them in the mesh side. And you put a little water down below. Now if they're really, really tiny, tiny, tiny seeds like these, what you need to do is put like a paper towel or something in there. So, anyways, I had water drip on me. So, you lay that down, you dampen the towel, and you put your seeds on top. Then, you just keep watering them from below. I don't know that system, so that's you spray them with spray, like spray water. It's just a spray bottle with water. And then you keep them watered below. And so what happens is they just start growing up. So then I found on Instagram they had like a cart that I think, I don't know if it's on wheels or not, it doesn't matter. And anyways, you put your trays on it. And basically it's enough for 4 trays. So actually that should probably come off. And then you have 4 trays and you put them, next to your window or whatever you have. I have a shelf that is already, it's exactly that, it's 4. And it comes up in the back over there, and it is a wood shelf. So many of you have seen these, and they just fold down. They're the greatest shelf. I've had it for, oh my goodness, 20 years. I can't believe it's been 20 years, but it's 20 years. So basically, this little thing just folds down, and that's it. So I have used this everywhere you can imagine in my house. And right now what it has on it are some clippings of plants, and I will share that more with you in a minute, and violets and stuff like that. So I decided, okay, I can't, well, you can, I think you can eat violets, but I wouldn't, because these have been not organic. So, so what I've done is, and I was storing a lot of my extra appliances on there because we don't have a lot of counter space. What we ended up doing was, there's an armoire almost more than twice the size of that little shelf. So we bought another little shelf that was plastic, and plastic, sections, and we set that up. It has like a hardwood type look shelf, and it just has the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's in our closet, or in the armoire, and that's where I put my appliances now, so in Tupperware. So anyways, so this now is freed up, and the reason I wanted it to be freed was I'm going to have one. I'm terrible at drawing, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm just a straight edge person. I need a ruler. So I've got this and 3. And what I'm going to do with these is these are going to be where I'm going to start all my seeds. So I have little bitty peat pods, and they're very compact, and when you wet them they get bigger, and you just push your little seeds down in them. And then you water them and you put them there and you let them go. And so this is where I'm going to start all my seeds. Some of them I will keep going inside, and that is going to be a great solution. Then I will, on this top part is going to be a big, well, not big, but a hydroponic. And it is going to be my first official hydroponic garden. I've grown things in water, because if you want to be, this has been grown in water. So I've also take cuttings of plants. You can do it with sweet potatoes. You can do it with some vines. You can do it with your ivies, anything like that. Your pothos, your inside ivy plant. And I do that all the time, and I give them away for gifts. I save my live kombucha bottles because I think they're neat bottles. And it says on there, if no one knows it, it just looks like it says live. And so, and that's it. I take all the stickers off, and I just, do straight bottle, and it has the embossed live on it. And so I give those all the time. I give people, ivy clippings. They grow into their own plant, and if they want, they can take them out and put them in in soil, or they can just keep them. It's so easy to grow them in water. I always tell my husband, don't put it in soil, keep it in water. He has some in his office, so... Anyways, and this is going to be my first go at hydroponics. So now, I'm going to come back over here, and the hydroponics will have in it, they will have, if it will be okay, I'm going to double check, I'm going to grow chives, basil, and baby lettuce. So I've ordered something called baby lettuce, and it's like a lettuce leaf. So I'm not going to grow any heads of lettuce. Kale will make like a plant that will kind of go out like that, and I'm okay with that because you just clip it and it keeps coming back. But I grew up where my dad had massive gardens. They were gorgeous gardens. He was amazing. He could clip something and have a whole patio full of it. It was really weird, but anyways, he was very good at it. And so I'm going to start with seeds in hydroponic. They have these little cups, and you start them, and you just go with that. And this one will have a tank. That's the only thing, I'm not a tank, it will have an aerator, which is just like in an old fish tank, something that blew the bubbles in the water. So I'm going to set that one up, hopefully in the next week. I keep trying to get to it, but it's been busy. And then here I will begin a lot of my startlings. So for right now, I have seeds that will go directly into the soil outside. And what I'll do is take some of those seeds and that are left over, and I'll save some for next year or for later in the season, depending on if it can grow when it gets hotter or colder, whatever it is. And I will grow more things in here. Like, I will not do cantaloupe. I will not. I will only do what goes in the ground out there. I will not do peppers, but I will do things like basil. I will do things like lettuce for sure. And I'm just looking at my list really quickly. I might even do some tomatoes. You know, it just depends. You know, I have to have a place to take them from here to out there. And then at some point, I'll switch everything out, and I will do squash for the fall, pumpkins, cabbage, spinach, and kale again. So, and I will always keep oregano and mint in the hydroponics as well. Which one is my hydroponics? Right there. So I'll also do oregano and mint because I love those year round, and you can't always grow it year round here. So, so basil, chives, mainly herbs, lettuce definitely, and then oregano and mint. So, and on the the shelf that will have the sprouts, because then I'll have a sprouts shelf, I will focus on, I have some onion sprouts, and I have some broccoli, and I actually have a mix, but I also have some broccoli. And I used to like broccoli, but I cannot eat it. It's really hard to eat it on my stomach, so I'm going to try sprouts. I'm hoping that will work. I do not have alfalfa. That was one of the seeds that went bad. I also had some garlic, and that went bad. I may try to find some more. I may not. I will have a protein mix, and that protein mix is things like, it'll have mung beans, it'll have lentils, it'll have, I'm just blanking out on the other things that it can have, but it's a really good, super good mix. And then, what is one of the last ones? I just ordered I have some radish. So radish is really hard on my tummy. Oh, and that is one thing I need to order for the garden. I have not gotten any radish. That's something, so I'm going to write that down here so I'll remember to do that. I've got to order the radish seeds for the garden. But, so that is what's going to go on inside. So, I think I want to set up my stickers, and I think I want to set it up in strips if I can, but we'll see. We'll see what we can do. Maybe I'll set it up by shelves, you know. But, and then another thing while I'm setting this up, I wanted to tell you guys another great thing to use, if you haven't thought about it, is you can like soak almonds overnight, and it's called sprouting them. And I hope you guys are okay with me sharing this, but this is one of the things I've done for years. I have a hard time eating almonds. They're really hard on my stomach, and this is something I could do with it. So what I would do is I would put my almonds in a half-gallon jar, and I would put filtered water in with them and let them sit for 8 hours or overnight. Then I would drain them and put them in my dehydrator on a very, 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 very low setting, of course. And as they dry, the almond is tight, but somehow when it's wet and it starts to sprout, what it ends up doing is you're sprouting your almonds. And so when you do that, you up the protein in it. It just makes them healthier. So that's why microgreens are so good for you. That's why sprouts are so good for you. And anyway, so you take it, and when it dehydrates, it's tight, and then all of a sudden, because it had been swollen when it soaked, and it had puffed out a little bit, when it dehydrates, it stays apart, and it is the lightest, crispiest, easiest to chew almond under the sun. I'm not kidding. And I know that they're saying you need 10 of them a day. You know, that's a good recommendation. And you know what? I think that's great. I think it's not a bad idea. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I mean, if that's something that makes us healthier, why not? I mean, seriously, why not? So, okay, I'm going to try to make it straighter this time. Any of you who saw the first video, you knew I wasn't that straight. So, all right, let me get them on this hand. All right, so now, so I have found a raw almond person I can buy raw almonds from. And I am going to enjoy those almonds in my family. And I mean, it is such a great, easy peasy way to eat almonds. And I mean, it really doesn't take any time at all. It really doesn't, trust me. I'm going to put them in a row. I don't like that. All right. Let's try again here. Sorry, guys. But I just have to say, it is so worth doing. It takes no time at all. And you can, you can get almonds at Sam's. You can buy them at your grocery store, Walmart, any of those places. I know I'm sounding picky, and I don't mean to. I just have a really hard time with my tummy. And so I have to be very realistic to what I can do. And I know almonds is a great source of protein for us. And, we kind of went through a lot of like, I don't know. I remember a friend of mine adopted a little boy from Russia, and he came and stayed with us. And because they had an emergency in their family, and they had just adopted him, and our family just loved him. We loved all the kids. But he came and stayed with us. And I remember she had very strict rules about when and how they ate. And I mean, I had a table in my kitchen, like a little farm table in the middle, and I set up on it all the healthy snacks they could just walk in and get at any time. And that was not what they did at their house. And he had been with them long enough. I mean, his English wasn't terrific. He was like 3 or 4 years old. But, I mean, he would not go help himself. And he came in, and one day he sat at my seat at the table. And he was with us for several days. And he would come over and play and all that kind of stuff. And he would sit at my seat, and he'd just look at me like, can I eat? And I would tell him, honey, this table, you come pick anything you want. It had fruit, it had nuts, it had seeds, it had all the things that, kids would love. And that he could literally come in and peel a banana, or, I would keep the other things washed and, just stuff like that. So anyways, he got to where he would come in and he would get his own snacks. And I would tell him, please, 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 you just come get it, whatever you want. And I mean, any kiddo that came to our house, they knew that, as long as they ate at the table, it was not a big deal. And I'm not a big, you got to eat at the table, but when your own children know when they have to stay at the table, but, not take it throughout the house, but other people's kids, you just, it's just the way it was. So anyway, so he literally would come sit at my chair and he would wait. And what I recognized was he had been starving. And my friend who adopted him said that, they had found him eating out of the trash can. And I said, that's a child that, was hungry. And he said, yeah, I think that, I guess he lived a season with his grandmother. And I guess they foraged in trash cans in Russia. And so, anyways, it was just he was such a beautiful child. And just a sweet, sweet boy. And we loved all their kids. But, he was the one that stayed with us, on that special occasion. And he just really touched our hearts. And so we knew at that point, from then on out, like if my kids came in and ate off the sprouts, they came in and took some out of the sprouts off the sprout shelf, I'd be like, go for it. And when my grandchildren come, I'm just going to say, you can eat off this shelf anytime you want, once they're sprouted, once they're X amount long. But I think for us, my first round, of course, my sprouts will all be done at the same time because I won't have enough patience to wait and stagger them. But the theory is behind these sprouts is that you plant them, you stagger them. And I may stagger them in the container and have them at different places in the container because the containers are about that long. So, or maybe longer, I don't know. But, so I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with that yet. But, okay, so these are for my hydroponics and my startlings. This is for my sprouts. So I'm going to put a topper there so I can label them. But anyways, to make a long story short, I learned very quickly that children should never feel like food was kept from them. And I've never I mean, my children, matter of fact, I had a doctor, because I've always had a weight problem, ask me, are your children overweight? And I said, no. And he said, how did you change that cycle? And I said, because everything is available at all times. As long as they make a healthy choice, it is available. And he goes, good job, Mom. That's exactly what you needed to do. And we had one child that just, I'm going to put this one here. I don't know why. Who did not like to eat big meals. So we let her eat snacks. And her pediatrician said, that's okay, Mom. Even as long as she's eating healthy snacks, what are you giving her for snack? And I would tell him, and he was like, good job, Mom. So we learned pretty early on that food doesn't have to be your foe, which it has been in my life. And my mom didn't know any different. She grew up, you know, where being skinny was everything, and I wasn't. I mean, I was an hourglass at 3rd grade. I mean, you know, I was a girl, and it showed. Though I played with all the boys. So on this one, okay, so let me start looking at these lists, and I'll just kind of keep talking while we're going through. But the thing that I recognized for my children is that I didn't want them to ever feel like they couldn't do. Now, I'm going to be honest, there are things that I've had for my special diets where I've said, please ask me before you get into it, or this is just mommy's, you know, that kind of a thing. And my kids have been really sweet about that. I mean, they know. So, all right. So I know my first round is going on this one for hydroponic, or pardon me, for sprouts. So this is my sprouts. I am so excited. And I'm going to list like my first 4 here. And then when I leave one, we'll list my next one. And I had thought about I'd do it by shelf, but I think I just want to do what I'm first going to try. So I've got onion, I've got broccoli, and I've got a protein. Oops, misspelled protein, and I've got radish. So, and the radish has like a red, I think if I remember right, it has a red stem. So it's really beautiful. Okay, for over here, these are going to be my startlings. And I'll do a separate one for hydroponics. So this is going to be for my startlings. And the first round I will have, and I'm going to do tomatoes and tons of basil. So if you go to my first video, let me see here. I think I've got them right here. Let me move my sprouts. Gotta move my sprouts to get to the seeds. I feel like that, you know, there was an old lady. She killed the fly. Da 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 da. Yeah, just okay. So I have tomato seeds here. So that's gonna go on that. I will always do some of this, the basil. I mean the peppermint and the oregano. And then I have one of the chives that will be inside. And then I have all of these. These are all different kinds of basil. So this is a purple dark opal. This is a lime aromatic. This is Italian large leaf. This is a lemon aromatic. And I skipped one. Sorry, guys. A Genovese basil. So that's for that. And then this is, I will have some lettuce on the inside, but I think I'm going to use a baby lettuce that I still have coming. This is going to be for my outside garden. And then these I'll be using outside. I still have a bunch of seeds coming in the mail. Because until honestly I got my husband on board, I wasn't going to spend a dime. I don't mind spending money on sprouts because that I control. I don't mind spending money on startlings because that I control. But for him, I knew I needed to wait, you know, just to be fair. So I'm going to have basil. I'm going to have peppermint. I always want to have peppermint and oregano in my kitchen. And I love basil. And if I could grow it all year round, I have grow lights, so we'll see. It's my first time to ever do any of that, so I'm super excited. Now I'm going to put one more here, and that is going to be for my hydroponic. So let's see what matches and what's left, right? I think that's all that matters now. It's what's left. There's that one. Huh. And I have 6 pods. I can put 6 pods in that. I think I want something bigger. Ooh, there's a really light, you know what? Let's do it. Why not? Why not? Because there's lighter in there. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be my hydroponics. I am super excited. There is a gal here on YouTube, and her name is Nikki Philippi, and she does these hydroponic towers. And my husband and I had looked at for years doing hydroponic micro